I'd heard it said, and to some extent I observe that here still. It's like, MA is at least two schools, because you do have two very disparate populations coming together. I mean, no doubt about it, there is a divide or a difference there of students. And to dive into sort of why is that and what do you do about it or so, I don't think there is a simple answer to it. As I look at it, as I looked at it with our younger students, what would I change? I'd get rid of poverty, because what I see are kids that come to school hungry, they come to school tired. So I really see students who are in situations where, it's not a really stable home situation. I know in the Ravenswood district, and these numbers vary, but about 30% of our students there were technically homeless, that they did not have an address which they could show, like the city or the school district. Certainly for high school students, I don't think you have a really good situation to do homework. I think you have demands put on them from family for jobs and for chores around the house. I think, a couple of students who have left because they felt like, I admire this in one sense, but they felt like they needed to support the family, one particularly to support a grandmother. And I'm not here to argue with that, but it gets in the way of academics. I don't think it's the fact that it's an under-resourced school district as much as it's just under-resourced students, that they have a lot of other family and social issues to deal with that, interfere with learning. Support programs for academics, MA has some excellent programs. After school, in-school support, I see evidence of that, of counselors coming and talking to me about kids or saying, wanting to pull them out for a little bit to talk to them. And so really working to get students to graduate and to go on to college. We talk about having access to internet, things like that. Yeah, having better access would be one thing. And offering it here at school, offering it at the Boys and Girls Club over in East Palo Alto still is a great thing, but not every student can get to that or have access to that. Many of them have work commitments. Those are just kind of differences or deficits, I think, that are hard to overcome by just saying, let's put some programs in place.
When I first came, it was so different. My first honors class, not only was I one of the only people of color, the students were all quiet and they were all ready just to learn, and they were excited to learn, and that was something that I wasn't used to. And at first I was actually kind of uncomfortable how quiet it was and how I didn't know anyone, and then I realized how behind I was, and all that just made me doubt myself. And honestly, for a time I did feel inferior to my classmates because of my education status. And then I as a little freshman, I connected it to where I came from, what my race was, and all these things. And now as a senior and I'm more caught up, I don't feel that way anymore. I don't feel less than, but I still feel that sense of, not that I don't belong, but it's still a little weird to be in there. I wish there was more people that looked like me. I just remember my first week walking in, I was like, whoa, this is all just white people. These are white people classes. This is not am I lost? Or it was just weird. I feel a lot of it has to do because of history, just the fact that they were segregated neighborhoods and all the funding did go over here. And I feel a lot of people have been trapped into a cycle of poverty, a cycle of being uneducated. And I feel some people have parents or someone they don't have that support in their life to tell them education is a way out, because it hasn't really ever been a way out before because of past experiences. And I feel if I wouldn't have parents to tell me like go to school or do good, I wouldn't be here. I don't know where I would be. And I feel like the reason we're so behind is because, well, there's like a lot of reasons, but I feel like some big reasons are that teachers coming into Ravenswood District don't understand that they're working in a community that has been looked down upon for so many years, that these students are coming in with like this negative mentality that I come from a bad city, I'm a bad kid, I'm not smart enough. Like, I was talking to one of my friends that went to Ravenswood with me and on the bus one time, and she was telling me how like, oh, I wish I was white. And I was telling her like, no, don't wish you're white, because it's not, whiteness does not mean that you're smart. It just, here in this area, most of the white people are lucky to have all these resources that we didn't have. If it were possible, I wish they would integrate the schools somehow. If you wait until high school to put them together, you're gonna get what you're getting, which is all these people coming from Ravenswood District in an underserved community, in all these like support classes and everything, because they didn't have the resources to do better. And while these other kids are coming in with the mentality that like, oh, I have to do good in school, and they're all going to these honors and AP classes. And I feel like even those who may be a little more ready for these honors and AP classes coming from the Ravenswood District maybe feel like the way I felt, like I don't belong here, and they just leave it. Or others can't be there, honestly, because they're just not at that level. And I feel like if it were possible, it would be nice to mix the schools before even coming to high school, and if not, just have more resources distributed to districts like the Ravenswood District. And I feel like just letting these kids know, coming from districts like Ravenswood, that they are smart kids, they are good kids, they can make it, no matter how many people think so low of them just because their race or background or economic status. I feel like a lot of those things are push factors, pushing these kids down from like a young age, and by the time you're in middle school, it's kind of ingrained in you, and you don't really care by the time, until it's too late. Because I do know a lot of people that in high school, they're just like, they felt dumb because they saw the separation, and for a time they didn't care, and when they came to actually like graduating and doing something, they regretted it, and they wanted to look back and change it or do something themselves. But I feel like if we gave these kids at a young age this good mentality, it would be different. I feel like M-A just try to help, but I don't know, like I've heard they try to like push kids to be in these AP classes, and then they end up failing them or dropping them, and I feel like that's not how it should work. I feel like they should support, like coming in, a lot of people are like really behind, and I feel like they should keep all these support classes, but I feel like they need to push them in those classes, maybe not at the AP level or AS level, but a little more than they do, because they need to know that they, like where they are, they're not still in middle school. Let them know that they are smart kids, let them know that they can do it, and let them know like why they're working so hard with them. They're not in these classes because they're dumb. They are in these classes because they were underserved and they didn't have the same resources that other kids. Like, let them know, because I feel like a lot of kids don't know that, and they still see themselves as less, because they are seeing, like as little freshmen, they are seeing this separation, and if they don't let them know, I feel like they will realize it a little too late.